Welcome back. This is our first intermediate pattern, guys. We're on to pattern number 9. And as you could see, this is the pattern. I call it pyramid on the side because it's not flat on its base. So let's begin by looking at this pattern and inspecting it as you if you want to call it inspecting. The one thing I noticed when I looked at this pattern first is that it does have one right angle triangle, and then we have an inverse right angle triangle. Also, what I noticed is that there are 7 rows in the first right angle triangle, and in the inverse right angle triangle there are only 6 rows. So let us set up our rows and columns first for this first triangle, and then we're going to set it up for the other triangle. Okay, not sure why I did that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is our integer variable num, and we're going to assign it a value of 7 because as you could see, this goes up to 7. And while our rows do not change, our columns in the rows change. So we're going to be printing the columns. Okay, so now let's talk about this. Logically, like we always do. Where do our rows start? Our rows start at 1, and then we go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do have 7 rows. So we're going to start our rows at 1, and we're going to say less than and equal to 7. Okay, and the one thing is here is that our to notice as well is that our J loop also starts from column 1 and it goes to column 7. So essentially it's the same thing. 1, and it is less than and equal to whatever I is, because of course we don't want to hard code this. Let's print this out and see if we get the first part of the pattern correct. So that pattern looks correct. It's the first part of the pattern. Now let's print the bottom half of the pattern. And I think I should put a note in here that says first part Okay, so now let's find where our for loop ends, and we're going to copy and paste the same code for the bottom half of the pyramid. Okay, so on the bottom half of the pyramid, how many rows do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are going to start from, where do you guys think we should start? I think we should start from num minus 1, because we go from, as you could see here, we go from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Therefore, we need to start from 6. So it's going to be num minus 1, simply because num, we've already assigned a value of 7, but we want it to be 6. So we're going to do num minus 1, num greater than and equal to 1. Okay, num greater than and equal to 1, and then we're going to do num minus minus. Okay, now our J loop does not change. Our J loop still starts from 1 and it ends at whatever I is. So for the second part, the only thing you have to do is change our row. Let's run this. Okay, and that is our loop. That is our loop, and this is our pattern. Now, one last thing, if you need to print this in a star pattern, very simple. Okay, that is our pattern and this is our code. Thank you guys so much. Again, all of this will be on my GitHub if you want to study the code. Happy testing and join me for our next task, which is going to be this pattern. The K pattern. I call it the K pattern. So join me for the K pattern for task number 10, and that would be our second intermediate pattern. Thank you guys so much and happy testing.